Have you ever pulled out a crisp new banknote from your wallet or maybe, found an old coin tucked away in a forgotten jacket pocket?
Happens all the time.
We often take the money we use for granted, right? Just sort of appears when we need it and disappears into transactions.
Uh-huh, absolutely.
But if you ever stop to think about where that money truly comes from, like how it's protected from fakes or what happens to it when it gets old and worn out.
It's so easy to overlook the complex journey of something so ubiquitous in our daily lives.
Hmm.
Every single ringgit has a story, an intricate life cycle that honestly very few people are aware of.
That's precisely what we're here to uncover.
Okay.
Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today is to give you a shortcut, really, to being well-informed about the fascinating and often unseen world of Malaysian currency management.
Right.
We're going to follow the ringgit's entire journey, from its very birth in design, to its eventual environmentally conscious destruction.
Yeah, the whole cycle.
And we've dived deep into some incredibly comprehensive sources for this. Everything from foundational legal documents like the Currency Act 2020 and the Central Bank of Malaysia Act 2009.
The legal bedrock, basically.
Exactly, to detailed annual reports from Bank Negara Malaysia, or BNM, outlining their operations and strategic initiatives. We even have presentation materials that offer a visual breakdown of some truly complex processes.
Yes, these sources paint a really full picture, and our goal for you, the listener, is to truly appreciate the intricate processes and, well, the strategic decisions behind Malaysia's currency. You'll understand how its availability, its integrity, and even its future are meticulously ensured, all without getting bogged down in, dense legislative details.
Yeah, we want to avoid that.
It's about uncovering surprising facts and understanding why all this meticulous management matters directly to you and the stability of Malaysia's entire financial system.
All right, let's start at the very beginning then. The beginning of the ringgit's story, with the foundation. Bank Negara Malaysia's mandate and the legal backbone of currency. This is truly where it all begins.
Indeed. Bank Negara Malaysia, BNM as we'll call it, stands as the sole authority. They're the only ones empowered to issue currency notes and coins in Malaysia.
Sole authority. That's a big deal.
It is. This isn't just a functional role, it's a fundamental aspect of the nation's financial sovereignty. This power is directly rooted in the Currency Act 2020 and further supported by the Central Bank of Malaysia Act 2009.
So it's legally enshrined.
Absolutely. What this signifies, fundamentally, is that no other entity in Malaysia can legally produce or issue the ringgit. That concentrated power is essential for stability.
That's an enormous responsibility. It sounds like B&M approaches it with a truly comprehensive strategy. You mentioned something like 5 pillars, holding up the currency ecosystem.
That's a great analogy, actually. BNM's mandates are indeed structured around 5 key pillars to ensure a robust currency ecosystem. First, there's availability. This means ensuring there's always a sufficient supply of ringgit banknotes and coins to meet public demand at all times. Think about festive seasons like Hari Raya or Chinese New Year.
Oh yeah, cash demand spikes then.
Exactly.
Okay.
Everyone needs crisp new notes for gifting. Imagine the public frustration or even, economic disruption if there wasn't enough cash in circulation during those peak times.
Oh, that would be an absolute nightmare. We all rely on that cash being there, fresh and ready.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Then we have quality. This mandate focuses on maintaining the physical state of Malaysian currency.
How clean it is, how sturdy.
Exactly. Making sure it remains clean, durable, and user-friendly for circulation. No one wants to deal with tattered, illegible notes or corroded coins. It impacts how people perceive the value and stability of their money.
So it's not just about having money, but having good quality money that you can trust and easily use. Makes sense.
Exactly. The third pillar is integrity. This is absolutely crucial.
Against fakes, right?
Yeah. Yes, safeguarding against counterfeiting and maintaining public confidence in the authenticity and security features of every note and coin. If people don't trust that the money in their hand is real, the entire system breaks down and the economy suffers.
That sounds like a never-ending arms race, staying one step ahead of those who would try to undermine the currency.
It absolutely is, and BNM invests heavily in that. Fourth, we have resilience.
Resilience, how so?
This involves building an adaptive and robust currency ecosystem capable of responding to evolving needs and potential disruptions. Think natural disasters, economic shocks, or even technological shifts.
So the system can handle shocks.
Exactly. The system needs to be able to handle anything thrown at it, maintaining continuous service.
And finally, cost efficiency must come into play, especially with such a massive nationwide operation that's constantly running.
Yes, the fifth pillar is all about managing currency operations in a prudent and effective manner. Optimizing resources throughout the currency lifecycle.
Keeping costs down.
Right. This ensures that the entire process, from production to disposal, is done in the most economically sensible way possible, benefiting the taxpayer. So, when you put it all together,
The 5 pillars.
yeah, B&M effectively serves the nation as the issuer, shaper, and regulator of the country's currency ecosystem. It highlights its comprehensive oversight from policy development right through to enforcement.
Issuer, shaper, and regulator.
Got it.
So, with B&M being the sole issuer, what exactly constitutes legal tender in Malaysia? What's the official money we're talking about here that's truly recognized?
Okay, legal tender in Malaysia is very clearly defined. Only currency notes and coins issued by B&M are officially recognized money for the payment of goods, services, and debts at their face value.
Simple enough.
But there's a critical caveat that many people aren't aware of. A currency note must not be defaced, and a currency coin must not be tampered with to be considered legal tender.
Defaced and tampered with. What do those terms actually mean in practice? I can imagine a lot of ways a banknote could get, say, torn, but is that always defaced?
Good question, because it's more specific than you might think. A currency note is considered defaced if any word, sign, symbol, drawing, caricature, or other thing has been written or inscribed on its surface.
Ah, so writing on it is a no-no.
Definitely. It's also defaced if it's torn, marred, burnt, stained, spoiled, or otherwise mutilated. For coins, tampered with means if the coin is impaired, diminished, or lightened other than by fair wear and tear.
So normal wear is okay.
Yes, normal wear is fine. But if it's stamped, engraved, or pierced, then it's tampered with. So a naturally worn coin from years of use is perfectly fine, but one that's been deliberately altered in any way is not.
That distinction makes perfect sense. You can't just modify a coin and expect it to be accepted at full value.
Yeah.
Are there any other limitations people should be aware of when using coins as legal tender, like paying with a huge bag of coins?
Yes, for currency coins, there are maximum aggregate quantity or value limits for a single payment. According to the second schedule of the Currency Act 2020, you can only use up to 25 pieces of currency coin in a single payment.
Only 25 pieces.
Per transaction, yes. So while a handful of coins is fine, you literally can't pay for, say, a new television with thousands of 5-cent coins. It keeps transactions practical.
Good to know for my next big purchase. Okay, beyond the everyday cash we use, B&M also issues some pretty special currency products, right? It's not all just your standard ringgit notes and coins.
That's right. There's a fascinating world beyond just circulation currency. B&M issues 3 main types of legal tender products. First, of course, we have circulation currency. This is the everyday banknotes and coins you use for daily transactions.
Standard stuff.
Then there's commemorative currency. These are special issue notes and coins released in conjunction with significant international, national, or state occasions, or to mark landmark achievements.
Like for anniversaries or special events?
Exactly. They serve a dual purpose. They are indeed legal tender, but they are also highly sought after by numismatists.
Coin collectors.
Right. Coin and currency collectors.
So while they're legal tender at face value, their market value can actually be much, much higher for collectors.
Precisely. They can be sold at a price other than their face value, and the proceeds from these sales are considered income for B&M, used to fund other initiatives.
Oh, interesting. So the extra money goes back to B&M.
Yes.
Yeah.
For example, in 2023, B&M issued commemorative coins for the 75th anniversary of Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara, or JPN 75, the 50th anniversary of Lembaga Pertubuhan Peladang, LPP 50, and the 150th anniversary of Jabatan Kerja Raya, JKR 150.
JKR 150, was that the special one?
Yes. The JKR 150 coin was especially unique, being the first hexagon-shaped commemorative coin ever issued by B&M.
A hexagon coin. That's truly unique and adds such a distinct flair. Very cool.
And B&M continued this in 2024 with coins for the installation of His Majesty's Seri Paduka Baginda Yang di Pertuan Agong Sesifinth, the 50th anniversary of Malaysia-China diplomatic relations, another striking hexagon-shaped one.
Another hexagon. Why?
And the 50th anniversary of Rubber Industry Smallholders Development Authority, RESDA. These really celebrate Malaysia's milestones.
So they're not just money. They're also pieces of art, history, and national pride, captured in metal. What's the third type of legal tender B&M issues?
The third type is bullion coins. These are gold or silver coins whose primary value is tied to their precious metal content.
Ah, so like investment coins.
Pretty much. They are also issued by B&M as legal tender, so they function primarily as an investment vehicle while still technically being recognized as money.
Got it. Circulation, commemorative, and bullion.
And here's where it gets really interesting, something that surprises many people.
Okay, lay it on me.
Did you know that even demonetized banknotes and coins from past series like Malaysia's first, second, and third series banknotes and first and second series coins can still be exchanged for their full face value at financial institutions?
Wait, really? Seriously? So if I found a really old RM100 note from the 1960s that's no longer in active circulation, I could take it to a bank and actually get modern RM100 in exchange?
Yes, you absolutely could.
That's incredible. And it immediately raises an important question. Why would B&M still honor the value of currency that's been out of active circulation for decades? What's the driving force behind that?
It's a fascinating point, and it speaks directly to the core mandate of maintaining public confidence and the absolute integrity of the currency.
Back to the integrity pillar.
Exactly. The fact that B&M still accepts demonetized currency at full face value, even decades later, reinforces the idea that the ringgit's value is fundamentally guaranteed by the central bank, regardless of its physical series or how old it looks.
It's like saying, this promise holds.
Precisely. It's a powerful, enduring statement about the stability and trustworthiness of Malaysia's financial system. This commitment ensures that even if you're holding currency that's no longer used for daily transactions, its inherent value isn't lost.
That assurance must be a foundational pillar of financial stability. It reassures the public that their savings, even in physical form, are secure over time.
Exactly. It tells people the ringgit always represents its stated value.
That's an incredible level of commitment to public trust. Truly reinforces B&M's mandate of integrity. Okay, now that we understand the legal framework and types of currency, let's move into the actual detailed journey of the ringgit, its life cycle, from design to its eventual sustainable destruction. How does B&M start this whole intricate process of creating money?
Well, it begins with a highly structured design process. B&M typically undertakes this for every new currency series, usually every 12 to 15 years or so.
Every 12, 15 years, okay.
And this isn't a unilateral decision. It involves extensive collaboration. You have dedicated banknotes and coin designers, the Notes and Coins Advisory Committee, or NCSC, JNEAC, a management committee, and ultimately the final design requires approval from the Minister of Finance.
Wow, multiple layers of input and approval.
Yes, it's a multi-layered process, ensuring every detail is carefully considered, from cultural motifs to the latest security features, and ensuring it represents the nation appropriately.
I imagine they're not just thinking about aesthetics then, but also about the most advanced security features and how durable the notes will be in circulation. Past the last, right?
Precisely. A key part of this design phase involves B&M constantly evaluating the latest currency technology. This proactive approach ensures they can embed effective and optimal security features into the notes and coins.
Staying ahead of the counterfeiters again.
Always. It's also about ensuring the currency is clean, durable, and user-friendly for everyone, from, say, the visually impaired to shopkeepers making quick transactions.
And what about the physical materials? I know some countries use plastic money. Does Malaysia use both paper and polymer?
Yes, Malaysia issues both paper and polymer banknotes. It's important to note that unlike ordinary paper made from wood pulp, Malaysian paper banknotes are typically made from cotton fibers.
Cotton. Interesting. Does that make a difference?
It gives them a distinct feel, better durability, and a longer lifespan than wood pulp paper. Polymer banknotes, on the other hand, are made from a synthetic polymer material called biaxially oriented polypropylene, or BOPP.
BOPP. Sounds technical.
It is, but the significant advantage of these polymer notes is that they can last up to 4 times longer than the RM1 paper banknotes.
4 times longer. Wow.
Yeah, making them a much more durable and cost-effective option in the long run, especially for frequently handled lower denominations like the RM1 and RM5.
That's a huge difference in lifespan. It sounds like a smart move for efficiency.
Yeah.
So once the design is finalized and the materials are chosen, where does the actual printing and minting happen? Is it all done right here in Malaysia?
Not entirely. B&M procures banknotes from commercial banknote printers through a fair and competitive open tender process.
So they outsource the printing.
Yes, and it's actually a global endeavor. Suppliers are located across Europe, Asia, and Australia. This ensures B&M gets the best quality and competitive prices for these highly specialized products.
Makes sense. What about the coins?
For coins, while the coin blanks, the plain metal discs are also sourced globally through open tender, the actual minting, the stamping of the design happens right here in Malaysia.
Where exactly?
At B&M's Malaysia Mint, known as My Mint.
My Mint. That sounds quite advanced. What exactly is special about it beyond just being a place that makes coins?
Oh, My Mint is state-of-the-art. It became fully operational in 2023. It's a truly smart coin operation that integrates Industry 4.0 elements and significant automation.
Industry 4.0, like robots and stuff.
Exactly. We're talking about automated storage and retrieval systems, ASRS, automated guided vehicles, AGV, and robotic arms, all integrated with a robust cybersecurity infrastructure.
Wow, so it's like a fully automated robotic factory for coins.
Pretty much. This cutting-edge technology allows for incredible precision, maximizes efficiency, greatly improves occupational safety for staff, and significantly reduces defects throughout the coin production, storage, and distribution processes. It's a real leap forward in minting technology for the country.
That's fascinating. Okay, so once these perfectly designed and minted notes and coins are ready to go, how do they actually get from B&M's highly secure facilities into the hands of, well, us, the public? That's the distribution part, right? And it must be a massive logistical challenge.
That's absolutely right. B&M's issuance of currency into circulation is highly strategic. It's meticulously based on projected public demand and prevailing economic activities.
So they forecast how much cash we'll need.
Yes, this requires meticulous forecasting and continuous monitoring of various economic indicators to ensure the right amount of cash is available exactly when and where it's needed across the country.
And I can only imagine transporting large amounts of cash involve incredibly high security. It's not like shipping regular parcels.
You're spot on. B&M employs a multimodal logistics strategy for securely transporting banknotes and coins. This varies depending on the product and its destination.
Land, sea, air.
Yes, utilizing air freight, sea freight, and land transport. Often these shipments are under escort by police or even military forces.
Military escort. Wow.
It emphasizes the high level of security involved due to the intrinsic value of the cargo. You can't be too careful.
That makes perfect sense. So once it leaves B&M's central facilities, how does it fan out across the country to reach everyone? Who handles that next step?
B&M works closely with financial institutions, FIs, and registered currency processors, RCPs or CAs, to form secondary distribution channels.
The banks and processors.
Right. The typical flow works like this. New notes and coins from printers and coin blank suppliers arrive at B&M's Automated Cash Center, or ACC, and MyMint. From there, they are distributed through FIs, RCPs, and regional offices like those in East Malaysia, which manage regional planning, inventory, and supply.
So they have regional hubs too.
Yes, to ultimately reach the public, retailers, and corporate clients via bank branches, ATMs, and coin deposit machines.
And does money flow back the other way too, like old notes?
Absolutely. The reverse flow also happens, where FIs accept deposits and excess notes and coins from the public and businesses, which are then collected for processing back by B&M or RCPs.
It sounds like a constant flow in both directions. A complex circulatory system for cash. And I understand B&M is even transforming this system further, making it even more efficient, trying to streamline it.
Yes, B&M is undergoing significant transformation efforts towards a more industry-led wholesale currency management model, which actually began in 2024.
Industry-led, what does that mean?
Well, a key insight here is that this includes centralizing currency withdrawal and deposit activities in peninsular Malaysia, leveraging B&M's ACC reserve capacity starting January 2025.
Centralizing in the ACC.
And importantly, they've established a centralized currency exchange platform. This allows financial institutions to efficiently manage their currency needs by exchanging fiat currency among themselves before requesting additional supply from B&M.
So banks can swap cash directly with each other first.
Exactly. This promotes incredible efficiency, optimizes the use of existing currency, and subtly makes the entire financial system more resilient and self-sufficient. It helps ensure your cash is always available without unnecessary delay or costs.
That sounds like a very smart move to keep the system lean and responsive. Speaking of which, how does B&M ensure that the money in our hands remains high quality and trustworthy? We touched on the quality pillar, but what are the actual checks in place to maintain that integrity throughout its life?
B&M enforces rigorous quality inspections at multiple stages of the currency lifecycle. First, right from the suppliers. All banknotes and coins must meet specified standards and are accompanied by a certificate of quality. They have to pass various tests before B&M even accepts them.
Quality control from the start.
Absolutely. Then, once currency is in circulation, periodic quality inspections are conducted on notes processed by those registered currency processors we mentioned.
The RCPs.
Right. And financial institutions themselves perform quarterly quality inspections to catch any issues early.
So it's not just a one-time check when it's produced, but continuous monitoring throughout its use, a constant vigilance.
Exactly. And most critically, currency that comes back from circulation also undergoes scrutiny. All banknotes deposited by FIs are process sorted and checked.
What happens in that processing?
Well, the main goal is to ensure only good quality banknotes remain in circulation. Unfit banknotes are immediately pulled out and shredded.
Shredded right away.
Yes, and any counterfeits detected are immediately removed and confiscated to maintain integrity and protect the public.
That leads perfectly to the question of counterfeits. How can the average person tell if a banknote is genuine? Are there simple tricks? And how big of a problem is counterfeiting in Malaysia compared to other countries?
B&M actively promotes the Feel, Look, Tilt, Check, or FLTC method to help the public authenticate banknotes. It's designed to be simple.
FLTC. Okay, break that down for us.
Okay. Feel refers to touching the raised printing effect on the banknote. Genuine notes have a distinct tactile feel, especially on the portrait and numbers.
So you can feel the print.
Yes. Look involves observing the watermark portrait, hold it up to the light, the perfect see-through register, and the clear window on polymer notes.
See-through register.
It's a design element that lines up perfectly when held to the light. Tilt the note. You should observe image and color changes in the security features, like the holographic strip or security thread. They shimmer or change color.
The shiny bits.
Exactly. And finally, check involves inspecting security features further using simple tools like a UV light device or a magnifying glass. Many security threads, for instance, glow under UV light.
Feel, look, tilt, check. That's a great practical guide for anyone handling cash. And how effective are these measures at keeping counterfeiting low in Malaysia?
Very effective, remarkably so. Malaysia maintains an exceptionally low counterfeit index. As of 2024, it stands at just 1.7 parts per million.
1.7 parts per million. That sounds tiny.
It is. There was a slight increase from 1.6 ppm in 2023, but that was attributed to a single scam incident involving a larger batch of notes. But even with that slight rise, Malaysia's index is significantly lower compared to many benchmarked countries.
Like who? Give us some comparisons.
For instance, the Eurozone averages 13 ppm, the UK is way up at 42 ppm, Indonesia is around 5 ppm, Australia 10 ppm, and South Africa 3 ppm.
Wow, that's a huge difference, 1.7 versus 42 in the UK. So Malaysia is truly doing exceptionally well at combating counterfeiting. How do they keep public awareness so high to maintain such a low rate? What's the secret?
Well, it's not really a secret, it's consistent effort. B&M conducts continuous, robust currency education programs. In 2023, they held 53 sessions, and in 2024, they increased that to 66 sessions.
Who do they target in these sessions?
Diverse groups, small traders, retailers, financial institutions, enforcement agencies, even government bodies, anyone who handles cash regularly.
Getting the word out widely.
Yes, and the use of social media campaigns is also instrumental in spreading awareness. They push the FLTC method, encourage people to report suspicious notes.
And probably encourage e-payments too.
Exactly. Encouraging migration to e-payment channels like Do It Now QR indirectly helps deter counterfeiting by simply reducing the opportunities for cash fraud. It's worth noting most counterfeits found are poor reproductions easily identified by FLTC and often target low-light, quick transaction environments like night markets or busy stalls.
Oh, where people might not check as carefully. Makes sense. Education is key.
Hmm.
So once money has been in circulation for a while, it inevitably starts to show its age and wear.
Yeah.
What happens to notes and coins that are no longer fit for use? How does B&M handle damaged currency, and what do they do with it sustainably?
Right. Well, it's important to understand the different conditions of currency first. We have fit currency, which are good quality notes and coins that meet acceptable standards for recirculation.
Fit currency gets reused.
Yes, and B&M actually prioritizes the distribution of these fit notes, especially during festive seasons, to reduce the temporary spike in demand for new notes. It's a greener approach.
Okay, so fit is good. What about the bad stuff?
Then there's unfit currency. This refers to banknotes that are limp, soiled, or crumpled from everyday use, just worn out.
And defaced, as we discussed earlier, like if someone, say, drawn a mustache on the Agong's picture on the note.
Exactly, that would be defaced. Defaced currency includes banknotes that have been torn, dye-stained, inscribed, marred, burnt, stained, spoiled, or otherwise mutilated.
What about coins? They get damaged too.
Yes. For coins, we have worn coins, which are maybe corroded and stained from environmental exposure, and tampered coins, those that are dented, burnt, broken, or have holes, or are impaired, diminished, or lightened otherwise than by fair wear and tear.
So if I happen to have one of these damaged notes or coins, maybe something went through the wash or got ripped, what should I do with it? Can I still get its value back?
Yes, you absolutely can in most cases. Unfit or defaced banknotes or worn or tampered coins can be exchanged at any financial institution in Malaysia.
Just walk into any bank.
Pretty much. For straightforward cases, where the damage is clear but the value is still evident, the assessment is done right there by the financial institution based on clear B&M guidelines.
And they give you the money back.
The value is typically refunded directly into your bank account. However, for doubtful cases like banknotes where you can't clearly see the value or really old demonetized currency, banknotes damaged by termites.
Termites.
Ew! Yeah, or dye-stained, badly burnt, or severely tampered or unfit coins in those cases, B&M conducts the assessment.
So the bank sends it to B&M.
Yes. And refunds for these typically take about 21 working days after B&M completes the assessment.
Okay, good to know. What if my money is lost or stolen? Is there a right to get that value back from B&M? Like insurance?
This is a crucial legal point that's important to understand.
Yep.
No person is entitled to recover the value of lost or stolen currency.
No entitlement.
Right. While B&M may, at its discretion, refund the value of imperfect, defaced, or tampered currency that you present to them physically.
You have to have the damaged item itself.
Yes. But there is no entitlement to compensation for any loss suffered due to the detention of suspected counterfeit currency, even if it later turns out to be genuine.
So if they hold your note, suspecting it's fake, and it's real, you don't get compensated for the delay.
Correct. It's a strong reminder of individual responsibility in protecting one's cash holdings.
That's an important distinction to be aware of. So B&M encourages people to keep their money in good shape and actively use their coins instead of letting them sit idle. You mentioned coin hoarding earlier.
Absolutely. B&M actively encourages the public to maximize the use of currency and keep it in good shape. This includes supporting the use of fit banknotes, for instance, for gifting during festive seasons like Eid or Chinese New Year. B&M frames it as a meaningful step toward a greener world, reducing the need to print new notes unnecessarily.
Using fit notes is greener. Interesting angle.
And crucially, they also strongly encourage the public to use their coins or deposit unused coins at coin deposit machines or the nearest financial institutions. Did you know a significant portion of coins, around 30%?
30%.
Yes, around 30% remains stagnant outside the active currency ecosystem, often sitting unused in jars, piggy banks, drawers, you name it.
That's a huge amount just sitting there.
It is. Getting those back into circulation is a major priority for efficiency and sustainability. I'm certainly guilty of having a jar full of coins myself.
Oh, me too. I've probably got enough for a small treasure chest in my old piggy bank. That's a huge chunk of idle money just doing nothing. So what happens to the currency that's deemed unfit or is finally pulled from circulation? How is it ultimately disposed of? Does it just go to landfill?
Thankfully, no. B&M systematically withdraws any unfit, defaced, and counterfeit notes and worn or tampered coins from circulation during its processing activities. Once withdrawn, the unfit banknotes are mechanically shredded into small, confetti-like pieces.
Like financial confetti.
Exactly. That's a first step in their disposal.
And I know they've taken a really environmentally friendly approach to this, which is quite innovative. Not just shredding, right?
Yes, that's a key initiative and a point of pride for B&M. They are deeply committed to sustainable disposal. The shredded notes are converted into combustion material and utilized in waste-to-energy, or WTE, facilities.
Waste energy, so they burn it.
Yes, but in a controlled way to generate electricity. This isn't just a theoretical concept, it's happening right now. In 2024, the disposal of banknotes through WTE generated about 448,179 kilowatt hours of energy.
Wow. How much energy is that, really?
To put that into perspective, that's enough to power 60 Malaysian households for an entire year.
60 homes powered for a year, just from old banknotes.
Yes. Turning old money into electricity, it's incredibly impactful.
That's quite remarkable. It really highlights how they're closing the loop, finding value even in waste.
And here's where it gets really interesting. showcasing B&M's pioneering recycling efforts and commitment to a circular economy. It goes beyond just energy generation.
Oh, what else are they doing?
B&M has completed a successful proof of concept, a POC, to recycle Malaysia's polymer banknotes into polymer boards and pellets.
Recycling the plastic notes. Into what?
These pellets can then be used to create new plastic products like flower pots and traffic cones. The polymer boards can even be used for furniture making.
Furniture from old money. That's amazing.
It significantly reduces the need for virgin plastic and truly gives the material a new lease on life, diverting it from landfills or just being burned.
So they're not just disposing of it, they're giving it a complete second life as new products. That's a true circular economy approach in action, which is fantastic for sustainability.
Exactly. And B&M is also exploring reprocessing paper banknote waste into recycled paper.
Recycling the cotton paper notes too.
They're exploring it. That would not only further reduce waste, but also conserve the natural resources required to produce new paper. It's a comprehensive approach to sustainability across the entire currency life cycle, from sourcing materials to final disposal or repurposing.
That's really impressive stuff. Okay, shifting gears a bit, let's look at the broader landscape. In an increasingly digital world where e-payments are booming and so many transactions are cashless, does physical cash still really matter in Malaysia? Is it still a significant part of our economy?
That's a vital question, and the answer is yes, absolutely. Despite the significant progress and growth of e-payments in Malaysia, and it has been huge, cash firmly remains an important and resilient means of payment in the economy.
So reports of cash as death are greatly exaggerated.
Definitely for now. While its role might evolve, it's certainly not disappearing. We saw a fascinating trend recently. Currency in circulation, or CIC, actually saw a moderate decline for the first time since 2001.
First time since 2001. Wow.
Yes, decreasing by 0.2% to RM 161.8 billion in 2023. However, it subsequently increased again by 5.5% year-on-year to RM 170.7 billion by the end of 2024.
So after a brief dip, cash is actually still growing overall. That's quite surprising given the rise of digital options like QR codes and e-wallets everywhere.
It is surprising to some, and banknotes still account for the vast majority, 97% of this value, with coins making up the remaining 3%.
97% is notes. Why do you think that is? What factors keep the demand for physical cash alive, even with all the digital convenience?
B&M foresees several key factors that will continue to drive demand for physical cash. Firstly, there's simply consumer preference for cash in certain situations.
Like what? Small purchases.
Small purchases, yeah. Many people still prefer it for budgeting, seeing the cash helps control spending, or simply because they feel more in control when using physical money.
The feel of it.
Exactly. Secondly, cash plays a vital role in financial inclusion, especially for populations with limited access to digital payment infrastructure or formal banking services. Not everyone has a smartphone or bank account. Cash is universal.
So it's about accessibility for everyone, regardless of their digital literacy or access to technology. That's important.
Precisely. It also has widespread use in the small business and informal sectors. Think roadside stalls, small traders.
Pasar malam traders.
Exactly. Cash transactions are often the norm there due to lower overheads or simply established practices. Fourth, cash offers undeniable reliability during disruptions.
When the internet goes down.
Exactly. Network outages, power failures. These can render digital payments unusable. In those moments, cash is king. It always works.
Good point.
And finally, there are significant cultural and economic factors. Think about its traditional role in gifting, like Duit Raya during Hari Raya or Ang Pao during Chinese New Year.
Can't really put an e-wallet transfer in a red packet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These deeply embedded cultural practices continue to drive cash usage in a way digital payments haven't fully replaced.
It's clear cash isn't going anywhere fast then. And it serves some really crucial roles that digital payments can't fully replicate, especially around inclusion and reliability. But with so much cash moving around and the need for processing it by banks and those RCPs, how does B&M regulate the private businesses that handle currency? It sounds like an area ripe for potential misuse, if not strictly controlled.
You're absolutely right to highlight that. That's where the Currency Act 2020 comes in again, specifically Part 4. B&M's regulatory scope extends to private entities involved in currency processing activities, things like sorting and packing currency by authenticity, quality, quantity, or denomination.
Sorting, packing.
Okay. The Act designates these as currency processing businesses and mandates their registration with B&M.
So they have to register.
Yes. And the key insight here is that this regulation ensures the integrity and security of the entire cash supply chain, beyond just B&M's direct operations. It brings private players under oversight.
So you literally can't just set up a business handling large amounts of cash and sorting it without B&M knowing about it and approving it, like a cash and transit company or a sorting center.
Absolutely not. There's a strict prohibition against carrying on such a business without being registered under Section 26 of the Act, unless it's B&M itself or a financial institution like a bank.
Okay, banks are exempt, but others need to register.
Right. Applicants must meet B&M prescribed standards and pay fees. And B&M can initiate deregistration for various reasons if they provide false information, cease business operations, breach the act, or even if they're winding up. This ensures only legitimate, compliant entities handle currency, preventing potential avenues for illicit financial activities like money laundering.
What are the main duties and professional standards required for these registered currency processors and the financial institutions doing this work? It sounds like a lot of responsibility handling all that cash.
They have significant duties, yes. They must manage their business prudently, professionally, with integrity, accountability, and transparency. It's a high bar.
Professional conduct is key.
Very much so. They also have to comply with B&M's detailed standards, which are laid out in comprehensive policy documents like the ones on quality and integrity of currency and currency processing business, published in 2023 and 2024. These entities are explicitly accountable for managing all material risks.
Like what kind of risks?
Operational risks, financial risks, and especially security risks associated with handling large volumes of cash. They need robust controls.
And I imagine there are equally strict rules about confidentiality and data protection, given the sensitive nature of financial transactions and who is depositing or withdrawing cash.
Yes, very strict provisions regarding the preservation of secrecy are in place. Directors, officers, or employees of these businesses are prohibited from disclosing customer business information to unauthorized parties unless explicitly approved by B&M or legally required, like by a court order.
Protecting customer data.
Exactly. It protects sensitive financial data and helps prevent abuses of information.
What about detecting counterfeits? We talked about FLTC for the public, but is that a shared responsibility across the ecosystem for these processors too, or solely B&M's job once money comes back?
It's a critical and mandatory shared duty. B&M, registered currency processors, and financial institutions all have a legal obligation to detain any currency suspected to be counterfeit.
Detain it on the spot.
Yes. Upon detention, they must record personal information of the person from whom the currency was detained, including beneficial owners and carriers, if known, and promptly surrender the suspected counterfeit currency and related information to the police.
They hand it over to the police, not just B&M.
Yes, to the police for investigation. It's important to reiterate that while genuine currency remains the property of the person it was taken from, no compensation is due for the period of detention of suspected counterfeits, even if they later turn out to be genuine.
That's a tough but necessary rule again to deter counterfeiting and ensure cooperation. What happens if these rules aren't followed? If a processor gets sloppy or doesn't report counterfeits? What are B&M's enforcement powers under this act?
B&M has broad enforcement powers under the Currency Act 2020.
Yeah.
This includes the power to examine documents, computers, premises, and individuals involved in the currency processing business, even without prior notice, to investigate compliance.
They can just show up.
Potentially, yes. They can also issue directions, for example, to prohibit or suspend activities if a business is operating detrimentally to public interest or committing a breach of the act.
Stopping bad practices.
Right. They can take administrative actions like issuing reprimands or imposing substantial monetary penalties. It can be up to RM 100,000 for a body corporate or RM 20,000 for a natural person per breach.
Per breach. That could add up quickly.
It certainly could. And for serious offenses, they can pursue criminal actions, things like issuing unauthorized currency or melting coins down for their metal value for profit. The act highlights the severe consequences for undermining the currency system.
So B&M's role truly goes far beyond just printing money and ensuring its quality.
Yeah.
It's also about safeguarding the entire financial ecosystem from illicit activities like money laundering and terrorism financing. This is a much bigger picture, isn't it? Connecting currency to fighting financial crime.
Absolutely, it's a crucial link. Beyond just currency management under the Currency Act, B&M is the competent authority overseeing and administering the Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act 2001, known as AMLA 2001.
Being Melly.
BNM serves as Malaysia's Financial Intelligence Unit, or FIU.
The FIU. What does that unit do?
It's the Central National Agency for Receiving, Analyzing, and Disseminating Financial Intelligence. BNM, in this role, is also the supervisory authority for reporting institutions.
Who are the reporting institutions? Just banks?
Not just banks. It includes financial institutions, yes, but also non-bank financial institutions and what are called designated non-financial businesses and professions, or DNFBPs.
DNFBPs, like who?
That includes lawyers, accountants, company secretaries, trust companies, dealers in precious metals or stones, and even licensed casino operators. They all have obligations under AMLA.
Wow, that's a huge and complex mandate covering so many sectors. How does BNM combat these sophisticated financial crimes on such a broad scale? What's the strategy?
They focus on several key areas: strengthening compliance with international standards, optimizing the use of technology for analysis and supervision, and widening stakeholder collaboration.
International standards, like
Well, but-
FATF.
Exactly. A significant part of their efforts in 2024 was directed towards preparing for the mutual evaluation, or ME, of Malaysia's effectiveness and compliance with Financial Action Task Force, the FATF standards.
The FATF evaluation, why is that so important?
This evaluation is absolutely critical. Its results can profoundly affect a country's international reputation, investor confidence, the ease of doing business, and even the cost of compliance for financial institutions operating globally.
So a bad score could really hurt Malaysia internationally.
Yes. Countries with poor ratings can face significant difficulties in dealing with foreign banks and conducting international transactions due to heightened scrutiny, sometimes being placed on gray lists. BNM actively collaborated with over 20 agencies to conduct internal assessments, analyze gaps, and strengthen the domestic landscape in preparation for this ME.
So the real takeaway here isn't just about catching criminals locally.
No, it's much broader. It's about safeguarding Malaysia's reputation on the global stage, which directly impacts everything from foreign investment coming into the country to the ease of doing business for your local companies and ultimately overall economic prosperity.
So it's not just an internal matter. It really has profound global implications for the entire nation.
Ah.
Are there recent legislative changes to help with this intensified focus on AML-CFT?
Yes. The AMLA 2001 amendments, which were passed in December 2024, are key initiative. These amendments are specifically designed to enhance and clarify investigation and prosecution procedures.
Making it easier to go after criminals.
Essentially, yes, and clarifying the supervision and regulation of reporting institutions. They're designed to address recommendations from gap analyses, issues raised in Malaysia's last ME report back in 2015, and align with the latest FATF standard revised between 2020 and 2024.
So updating the laws to match global best practice.
Correct. Further enhancements have also been made to supervisory frameworks for both financial institutions and those DNFBPs, as well as to the crucial beneficial ownership reporting framework.
Beneficial ownership, meaning who really owns a company.
Exactly, making it harder for illicit actors to hide behind complex corporate structures.
And how does B&M actually share intelligence and collaborate with others in this constant fight against financial crime? I imagine it's a massive amount of data to manage from all those reporting institutions.
The FIU is crucial here. Reporting institutions have significantly enhanced their compliance, contributing to an increasing trend in suspicious transaction reports, or STRs.
STRs. That's when a bank or lawyer flags a dodgy transaction.
Precisely. In 2024, reporting institutions submitted 342,166 STRs, up from 317,435 in 2023.
Over 340,000 suspicious reports in 1 year.
Yes. Fraud was the most common suspected offense, accounting for about 24% of all STRs submitted.
So what does the FIU do with all these STRs?
They leverage advanced data analytics, things like network analysis, looking for connections between transactions and people, and text mining, analyzing the descriptions in the reports to uncover patterns and insights. They profile and prioritize these reports by risk.
Using tech to find the needles in the haystack.
That's a good way to put it. They also published a comprehensive suspicious transaction reporting handbook in 2024 to further assist reporting institutions in submitting high-quality reports, making the data even more useful.
That's a truly massive amount of data to process and analyze effectively. And they share this intelligence with other countries, too, making it a truly global effort.
Absolutely. The FIU actively shared financial intelligence disclosures with domestic law enforcement agencies, the police, MAC, customs, etc., and more than 30 foreign FIUs in 2024.
30 other countries.
At least. This supports complex cross-border investigations. About 70% of these disclosures were related to high-risk crimes such as fraud, corruption, and organized crimes, demonstrating a targeted approach based on risk assessment.
Focusing on the biggest threats.
Right. This robust intelligence sharing, coupled with training sessions BNM provides for law enforcement agencies, fosters better cooperation and ensures continuous improvement in detecting and preventing financial crimes, both domestically and internationally.
It sounds like a complex web of collaboration, nationally and globally.
It truly is. BNM actively participates in international conferences and workshops, like the International Conference on Financial Crime and Terrorism Financing and the APG Asia Pacific Group on Money Laundering Typologies workshop in 2024. They also host supervisory colleges.
Supervisory colleges.
It's where regulators from different countries get together to coordinate the supervision of financial institutions that operate across multiple jurisdictions. Enhances cooperation.
Okay. Makes sense for global banks.
And looking ahead, BNM is developing initiatives for Malaysia's ASEAN chairmanship in 2025, including establishing a working group under the ASEAN Senior Officials Meetings on Transnational Crime, SOMTC, focused specifically on money laundering. The aim is to further enhance regional cooperation and capacity building within ASEAN.
So Malaysia is taking a lead role in the region, too.
Yes. If we connect this all back to the bigger picture, you see how the integrity of our currency, the physical notes and coins, and the robust system BNM manages to keep them clean and process them, links directly to Malaysia's standing in the global financial system and its vital efforts to combat global financial crime. It's all interconnected.
That's truly fascinating, seeing how the money in our pocket is tied to such a vast international effort against serious crime. So we've covered the practical side of currency, the life cycle, the regulation, the AML aspect. But there's also a cultural and historical aspect, isn't there? The numismatic activities you mentioned earlier, the commemorative coins.
Yes, absolutely. Beyond the daily transactions, BNM plays a significant role in issuing commemorative coins for significant national and international events. These coins are not just legal tender, they are carefully designed to showcase Malaysia's unique culture and heritage, preserving moments in time.
Capturing history in metal.
Exactly. We touched on the JPN 75, LPP 50, and JKR 150 coins from 2023, and the Agong 8 Sith installation, the Malaysia-China Diplomatic Relations 50th, and the RISDA 50th anniversary coins from 2024. Their diverse and often unique designs, like the hexagon shape, really set them apart and make them collectible.
And I hear they also option off banknotes with special serial numbers. That sounds like a collector's dream and perhaps a bit of a high-stakes game for numismatists.
It certainly is. BNM conducts auctions for ringgit banknotes with special serial numbers, things like solid numbers, ladders, repetitive prefixes, unique sequences, identical digits.
Like RM100 note with serial number A8888888.
Exactly that kind of thing. These auctions are quite popular among collectors and generate significant funds. For example, in 2 auctions held in 2024, BNM collected a total of RM 1.7 million and RM 1.5 million, respectively.
Over 3 million ringgit just from selling notes with fancy numbers.
Yes, and the highest bid for a single set of notes in one of those auctions reached an impressive RM 47,000.
RM 47,000 for a set of banknotes. That's a serious amount. Where do those significant funds go? Does BNM just pocket it?
No. All income generated from these auctions is channeled back into BNM's currency outreach efforts and for the continuous improvement of the cash industry ecosystem.
Oh, that's great. Like what kind of outreach or improvements?
A notable and incredibly heartwarming example is the production and distribution of currency measurement devices, special templates or tools to aid visually impaired persons in identifying individual denominations of currency.
Helping the visually impaired identify notes.
Yes. This initiative makes our currency more accessible and inclusive for everyone, funded directly by the collector's passion for rare notes.
That's a wonderful initiative, connecting the world of collecting to such practical and impactful help for the community. It really brings it full circle.
It truly underscores BNM's ongoing commitment not only to financial integrity, but also to improving numismatic craftsmanship and accessibility. It's about ensuring that currency continues to reflect and celebrate Malaysia's rich culture and heritage, making each note and coin not just means of exchange, but a small, tangible piece of national identity and artistry available to all.
What an incredible journey we've taken today.
Yeah.
Seriously. From the strict legal framework governing Malaysian currency and B&M's pivotal role as the sole issuer, the issuer, shaper, and regulator.
Right.
Through its intricate life cycle of meticulous design, global production, secure distribution, everyday use, and finally, its surprisingly environmentally conscious processing and disposal, even recycling.
The waste to energy and polymer recycling is quite something.
It really is. And we also explored B&M's broader, vital efforts in maintaining financial integrity on both national and international fronts, fighting money laundering via AMLA and the FIU, preparing for FATF evaluations.
Connecting currency integrity to global financial standing.
Exactly. And we touched on the cultural richness embedded in Malaysia's numismatic activities, those special coins and auction notes giving back to the community. It's far, far more complex than just a banknote appearing in your hand.
It's truly a testament to the layers of planning, foresight, and advanced technology that go into something we interact with daily without a second thought. The unseen mechanisms are what ensure its reliability and value.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? What's the bottom line? It means that every time you handle a ringgit, you're not just holding a piece of paper or metal, you're holding a product of meticulous design, advanced technology, stringent oversight.
And a deep systemic commitment to both economic stability and environmental responsibility.
Exactly. It's a complex, dynamic system working seamlessly in the background, building trust into every single transaction you make.
Indeed. There's a hidden world of expertise, dedication, and constant innovation behind every ringgit in your pocket, ensuring its value and security. It's quite reassuring when you think about it.
Definitely. So as we wrap up, here's a final thought. As digital payments continue to expand and transform our financial landscape, consider this. How might physical currency, its design, its materials, its very purpose, continue to adapt and evolve to remain essential in our lives while still reflecting the unique identity and the growing sustainable aspirations of Malaysia?
That's a great question to ponder. How does cash coexist and evolve in an increasingly digital future? Fascinating stuff.